Hello and welcome back to the third video of this series where we are learning to create a Spring Boot project from scratch. In the last video, we learned how to return a JSON response instead of a string. In this video, we are going to see what is business services and how to implement get, post, put, and delete methods. Let's get started. So here for every request we are generating a new list and returning it as a response, which is a wrong practice. In order to overcome this, we are going to add a business service and we will keep all our resources over there. What is business service? Business service is where we put all the business logic before returning the response to the caller. So let's create a business service. To start creating a business service, we just need to create a service, a class, and we are calling it as activity service class. Okay, so when you're going to tell how you're going to tell Spring that this is a service class is by adding a decorator, and this decorator is available in stereotype, right? So you just need to import it, and now this class has been registered as service by Spring. So now I'm going to move all of these in the service. These are the resources, and I'm going to move it to service. I'm going to create a variable. Sorry, and this is going to hold a list of activities. Okay, I'm going to assign it to it. Okay, the list type should be activity, and we just need to import it from Java util, and this is it. So your resource is available over here. We have all the activities. Now what we are going to do is that the controller is going to call the activities and get a resource from here and respond. So how we are going to tell controller that there is a activity service that is available. So in order to do that, we are just going to create a private member variable into the controller of type activity service, and we are calling it activity service. Okay, just remember that we are not initializing either activity controller, and also we are not going to initialize activity service. So Spring takes care of it. It scans the class path and gets the activities and controller and initializes it. So now, in order to tell the controller that service is available, we are going to use an annotation that is called auto-wired. When you use this annotation, Spring is going to initialize activity service class and provide the class object, and all the classes are controllers where the variable is decorated with auto-wired. Now instead of returning the list that you're creating over here, I'm going to introduce a new method into the service that is going to return the activities. And from controller, we just need to call activity service dot get all activities. Sorry. Okay. So let's run and see if it is working fine. Yeah, so this is working perfectly fine. Now what we are going to do is implement. Uh, this is a get method. We are going to implement get only one object or only one activity by ID, and we are also going to implement post method to add one more object to this list and update an object or update an activity and delete an activity. Right. Let's start by creating a controller for getting a single activity. So for that, I'm going to create a method that will be get activity by ID. It is going to have one argument that will be ID, and we will return the ID from activity service. Get activity by ID, and we'll pass this ID over here. Now, okay, let's implement this method. Okay, so return type of this method is going to be an activity. Okay, so what we need to do is to filter the values, filter the activity from the activity list. So for that, I'm going to use lambda function that will filter the activity and return. We don't get ID is equal to the ID that we have passed. Okay, so this is it. So what exactly is happening over here is that activity class we are converting to a stream, and I are keeping a filter, and I'm getting the ID from these objects and comparing with what ID I have received. Okay. Mm, okay, this will be an integer type. Fine. So now how we are going to tell this is a get method, and yeah, we can use request mapping to tell that this is a get method. Slash. Okay, we are expecting an ID over here. Okay, now how we are going to tell this method that this ID should be placed over here. So because the name is same and name is same, it should work, but we're not going to use a path. We are going to use another annotation that is going to tell Spring that this ID should be passed as ID to this function. So path variable is going to tell Spring that this ID should be passed as passed over here. So say this if this ID is not ID and it is foo, then how you are going to tell Spring that foo should be placed, value of foo should be placed over here. So that we can do by passing an argument to path variables and tell that foo value of foo should be considered as ID. For now we are sticking to ID only. Okay, let's rerun and see if we can get the values from here. Okay, so we are able to get the values of all the activities. Now I'm passing to one and I'm seeing that only one entry has been returned and with ID 1. If you pass the ID 2, you will get the second entry or the second activity. Uh, okay, so I think I'll have to cut it short because it is already 12-minute video. So yeah, let's see other methods in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.